What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Sticks. I got another little intro to trading video here. This is going to talk about trading psychology. So, this is going to be episode 3, Intro to Trading, episode 3, Trading Psychology. I actually have about 4 rules that I follow. I follow these to the T religiously. And it helps me, well, it keeps me it helps me keep me as a successful trader. I don't know if that made sense or not. Anyway, let's get to the rules. All right. So the number one rule that I have for myself that I established is a while back, and I follow it no matter what, is never bag hold. If we're in a bad trade, we get out right away. This keeps our loss to a very small amount, and we always ride our winners so that they end up being large. This makes it so that even if you have a crappy win to lose ratio, meaning if your losses are you lose more times than you win, it still makes it so that you're profitable at the end of the month. And that's simply because your losses end up being so small compared to your wins. All right. So never ever backhold. My motto is I'm either right or I'm out. Meaning if I enter a trade, so let's say I entered here. I'm sorry, let's say I enter here, right? I saw it bounce, it was making its move. This is almost close. I enter here, and then overnight it dips on me. As soon as it opens and I see that it's starting to go down more, I'm gonna exit. I'm not gonna bag hold this. All right, I'm gonna exit. I'm gonna have my little window of my little window that's gonna my little circle, sorry, that's gonna represent my stop loss. Obviously, I can't exit out of my stop loss in after hours. So once it opens, it already touched my stop loss, right? Once it opens, I see that it's going to continue to go down. I'm going to get out. I'm not going to hold this. Now, I see that it went down. It starts to go back up. I start doing my same thing over again. I put my little things here. Well, I don't really do this anymore, but I used to, where I would put my little entry targets here and my stop loss here. And as soon as it hits that entry target, I'd go ahead and get in and then ride it, ride it, ride it. All right. Anyway, so no bag holding for me. That doesn't work. Rule number 2, I never go in 100% of my account. Now, this is a weird rule because it only applies to my large account. It does not apply to. I was doing a $100 challenge, which is very difficult. I think that $100 challenge is at $153 at the moment. I kind of put it on the back burner because it was taking so long. But the reason why is because it was messing with my psychology. Because in order to grow a small account, it's very difficult to do that by taking small trades. Because I mean, think about it. If you only go in one third, if your rule is to only go in one third of your entire account balance, and you're at $100, it's kind of hard to break that into $33 and still make money out of it, right? You have commissions that cost you that eat into those profits. It's just very hard. So trading a $100 account had me going in 100% of my account, which is $100 every single time, and it was very difficult. Having said that, my rule still applies for my large account and my medium account, where I only go in about one third of my entire account balance, even less on my larger account. Um, that's just my entry position is anywhere between 3,000 to $5,000. Sometimes I'll take $10,000, which is basically one third, because I on the end of the month I withdraw anything that's above $30,000. That's the rule that I set for myself. So anything above 30K, I um, I withdraw at the end of the month, and I always begin the month with 30K. Um, just so I can bypass PDT. I know PDT is only 25,000, but the $5,000 extra gives me a cushion in case I have a bad trade at the beginning of the month or something. All right. So anyway, so that is rule number 2: is never go in 100% of your account. Um, it's silly to put in $30,000 into one stock or one or something into one trade and then have it go against me, and I can't you know do any type of strategy such as averaging out. to make it worthwhile enough to get out because all of my money is into that trade already. So that's silly. So don't do that. Don't go 100% of your account. Um, all right. Rule number 3: never force a trade. What do I mean by that? I mean, if I see that this is if I see that this is going down, but it's right here, right? It's staying here. I saw that it went down a lot and now it's just hovering here. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I want to enter a trade, or I see it going down some more and then it does this nonsense. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, it's bounced off quite a bit. I want to make this trade because I think I'm going to be able to get here. Just this quick little chunk from here to here, only 3%, but that's okay. I want that 3% because that could be, $30 or $300 depending on how much you put in there. There's no rationale. There's no educated reasoning behind why you would go here, right? You are just guessing that it's going to bounce up here because your resistance is here, your support is way down here. There's not enough candles to draw a pattern yet. I mean, you can kind of tend to draw a little downward line, nothing that's indicating that it's bouncing back up. So nothing to suggest going up. So by going in there, you're basically guessing. You're forcing a trade to happen when it clearly didn't happen, right? So that's what I mean about forcing a trade is don't if it's not there, if the pattern that you like, if the trade that you are the most familiar with, the strategy, whatever you want to call it, we're most familiar with, is not there, then don't force the trade. Don't try to make things pop up in your screen, some patterns pop up that are really not there. As humans, we tend to see things that are not really there, just because. Okay, um, if it's not there, don't force it. Don't force the trade. Another thing that I kind of kind of try to live by is only trade things that I'm familiar with. Only trade patterns that are familiar with. For example, a lot of people ask me, well, I should trade Forex. I'm not going to trade Forex. I love trading stocks. I love trading options. Forex moves too slow for me. And I am more familiar with options and stocks and stuff like that. So I'm going to stick with that. I trade what I like, what I'm successful with. There's no need to fix something that's not broken. All right. Um, yeah, that's it for rule number 3. Um, Rule number 4, and it kind of goes along with rule number 3. Rule number 4 is it's okay to not trade. If you have scanned your typical charts that you look at, like AMD, I look at AMD, I look at SPY, I look at JNUG, at DGAS, LUV. What is this blank? There it is. I look at LUV. I look at Apple. That's not how you spell Apple. Apple test. I look at a bunch of stuff. If I've looked at everything and it doesn't appear that I have anything that I'm familiar with trading, any types of patterns or charts that I like, then I'm not gonna trade it. I'm not gonna force that trade. It's okay to just, as someone once said, it's okay to just sit on your hands and not do anything and just look at it. Don't feel like every day you must take a trade. That's one of the that's a good way to force a trade and to end up getting a red day. So just don't do it. It's not worth it. Better just to stick with what you know, with the patterns you're familiar with the patterns you're more likely to win with. All right, that is rule number 4, and a little bonus rule. Back to rule number 5. Actually, go back to rule number 1. So rule number 5 is don't bag hold. The same as rule number 1. I repeat that twice because it is that important. Most people are so used to saying, and it's called fear of missing out. It's FOMO. Where if a trade goes, let's say you bought here for some reason, you bought here and it went up, you're like, yes, yes, yes. All of a sudden it goes down. You're like, oh, okay, well, now it's going back up. You're like, yes, yes, yes. And then it goes back down again. Um, it's impossible to know what's really going to happen here. We're just taking our best educated guesses, right? It's bounced here before, therefore we believe it'll bounce again. But what if it doesn't? What if it continues to crash? and you bag hold here, that is a terrible loss if you continue to hold, to hold, to hold. It's just not worth back holding. Try to stick to your rule, or to the rule that you're either right or you're out. All right. I hope this makes sense, and I hope you understand why I treat these rules as like a guide. Whenever I actually am about to trade, I always ask myself, is this something I'm familiar with? Does it look good? Meaning, is it an A plus trade? Is it something that I am or something that I'm comfortable going into, such as the price? For example, am I spending 15,000 where I normally would spend 3,000? Am I comfortable with that? And is it something that is going to give me enough return? For example, for the risk. For example, if I enter here for whatever reason, if I enter here and I see that my resistance is here, that may not be worth the risk, right? Because it's only a 1%. I'm basically, unless I buy 1,000 shares, it's really not going to be worth it from 33 to 33 something. That's like $300, even if I buy 3,000 shares. It's gotta make sense. Your trade has to make sense for you. And if at any point you feel like you are very nervous, you're very uncomfortable about the trade that you took, the reason why it's more than likely going to be that you feel that way is because your size is too large. That's why, meaning you have put too much money at stake. Um, that's usually the reason why people feel very uncomfortable with their size. So when that happens, I usually just say, you could always size down. Meaning, instead of buying 1,000 shares, I don't know, buy 400, 300. And just a quick reminder, I am not a financial advisor. I am not giving you financial advice. I am just putting this up here for entertainment, and showing you what I do with my money and with my trades. All right. I hope this was of some use to you. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow me on the social medias. Follow me on Zero to Hero Trader YouTube channel as well. Like us on the social medias. I really appreciate that, and it really does help us. Thank you so much. See you on the next one. Peace.